And I was long done by the time that point in the night come. There's no need to watch that last night.
I watched to see how long it took for them to get a shot on goal in the third. Javier, how you feeling? It's okay. We understand, believe me.
What's in Williamsburg? I know that means Berg, but or maybe I don't know. What the hell is there? I've never heard of it.
You going to play golf, Williamsburg?
Reenact a Civil War fight?
It's the only thing I know about Williamsburg. It's where they used to have that Mick Ultra tournament back in the day. I think it's a Champions Tour event now. Chris Strange won there a couple times.
Hey, your baseball team won.
Come on, it's your baseball team too.
No, I'm done with the whole city. They suck. Go Tampa.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. On this Thursday, the final one of May, we thank you for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Another good day. Just getting into a new habits. I'm having to walk around in the dark a lot in the morning. This house during the school year is very vibrant by 5:20 in the morning. Now that school has ended, where my daughter goes to school, and all of you at different schools, I know, are finishing up some as late as next week, as far as I know. But that means not only does the daughter get to sleep in, but the wife gets another hour and a half before she has to get up, because she's no longer taking the daughter to school. And the daughter's figured out how to make breakfast for herself, which is a big deal in the Miller household. Doesn't affect me at all. I'm in here working. So It doesn't really matter to me, but it matters to the wife and it matters to the daughter. She's very excited. We'll see how long this lasts until she's like, make me breakfast. But for the moment, everybody's sleeping longer and it is very quiet. I've had to navigate stairs with dual coffees. I have the mug that I start with, and then I have the big cup, which I finish with. So I really don't have to leave here all morning if need be. But different, navigating the stairs in the dark this morning. I didn't trip over anything, didn't spill any. Very pleased with that. Got a good night's sleep. Gave up on the hockey game for the third period because that sucker was over.
Whoo!
And I'm, now I'm trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to buy the baseball package for the, I guess the second, the 2/3 of the season that are remaining, which stinks because the team I root for that was expected to be good sucks. Now the Rays have lost, 4 in a row.
Right.
But I do like the Rays. I'm just I need another team. There's just not a lot of good out there in baseball of teams that maybe I could jump into the Braves. There was a time in which I liked the Braves, but I lived in Atlanta when they first got good. And it was annoying because I was working for a hockey team and still waiting tables to pay the bills. And all of the sudden, all of these waiters and waitresses that had no interest in sports are now interested in the Braves and know nothing about the Braves. And it was bothersome to then a 23-year-old Mark Miller of all of these bandwagon fans who knew nothing about the team. And then, 3, 4, 5 weeks later are talking about whether it's Smoltz or Avery or, whomever it may be. Well, he's pitching tonight. Like, you didn't even know who this guy was a month ago. So I was bothered by Braves fan while I lived there.
Well, don't give up on your team. And I'm not just saying that, you shouldn't give up on your team. I'm saying don't give up on your team. Do we have to just recap what's happened in the AL Central the last 2 years? It's been historic twice. But even if you think there's no way they're going to win the division, okay, fine. They're only 5 out of the final playoff spot right now because the league is so mediocre, which we've talked about at length. So, it doesn't take much. Yeah, you got some injuries. Yeah, you're not playing well. There's 110 games left.
I'll pay attention to that statement when there's 3 teams they have to get in front of, not 8.
Okay.
I understand where you're coming from, but I also understand that, particularly in the case of this team, they're very flawed. I mean, when you're up 6-5 and give up a grand slam, seemingly that's the only way you can lose. They are finding ways to lose right now. They've got to get over that hurdle. But, there's a bunch of teams like that. All of a sudden, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Tigers have all been playoff teams or at least close here for a while. And they are all off to very rough starts. The Orioles were, but a little sweep of the Rays, and all of a sudden they see some light at the end of the tunnel. The White Sox with a monstrous victory last night. That puts them as one of 4 teams with winning records in the American League. And with the Mariners winning last night, they are currently in first place in the AL West. But technically, Miller and Moulton cannot talk about them because they are a game below 500.
Right. They're in
Hello,
the playoffs.
NFC South.
Right. They're in the playoffs. We just can't say their name. There you go. Someone must represent that division in the playoffs. And this particular team, who shall be nameless, is currently doing that. Right.
And, I may get the package because there are teams that have been interesting. Like the Brewers have been, what a story the Brewers have been here the past few years. They're not spending a ton of money. They've got this pitcher that he's a guy, and this Mizorowski kid, he's a guy worth turning the television on every time he goes to the bump, David. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. He's one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball right now.
I got that, but he's also unique. I mean, there are certain guys that end up being the best pitchers. Are they the most exciting guys to watch, or are they just tacticians? This guy throws gas. This is J.R. Richards from the 70s, David.
Ooh.
This is just rare back, and every pitch is triple digits. I mean, this is a different cat right here. Skeens is amazing. There's no doubt. Skubal, when healthy, amazing. This guy, I don't know if he's better than those two, but he's certainly different than those two in the fact that it is just raw power.
I love the reference. It's a nearly 50-year-old reference, if not a 50-year-old reference. But, Skeens is like Nolan Ryan was then. But J.R. Richard was like Mizorowski. Okay, Nolan Ryan was dominating. You knew Nolan Ryan was loaded with greatness. He had already had his multiple 300 strikeout seasons, and he had already thrown a couple of no-hitters, and Skeens has taken no-nos into the 7th and the 8th, and most of us think he'll have one day soon. But even Nolan Ryan watched J.R. Richard warm up and went, damn, I don't bring that to the hill. And I bring some game to the hill.
Right. I mean,
I don't bring
he
that.
threw hard. He was throwing 100 miles an hour, but he wasn't throwing 103, if you know what I mean. I mean, there is something about this kid with the Brewers. So I'm trying to talk myself into multiple National League teams to watch when I don't watch the Rays. That's all. I need to find someone else. And I can watch the Yankees. It's funny, I am not a big fan of New York teams. Never have been. For whatever reason, I don't love the Yankees. They have too many fans. But I don't dislike the Yankees. I can watch the Yankees and just respect some of the talented players they have. And because they're the Yankees, we even mentioned it the other day. We finished the show about, a couple, 3 weeks ago. And I mentioned when I do the birthdays on Today Was a Day When, Volpe's birthday. And I said, David, if he played for anybody else in the league, we wouldn't even mention the guy. We wouldn't care about his name. But because he's a Yankee, we know who he is. So it's just they're always interesting. And again, this year, they're an interesting team.
Yes, they are. And heck, Volpe's even come up with some big hits this week. That's when you know what in the wide, wide world of sports is going on. So I say don't give up on your team, though. I say they will be playoff contenders in mid-August.
All right. We'll see. We shall see. But I like your positivity today, David, I must say. I'm a big fan of it.
Now, I'm wondering, with my positivity about one of your teams, because I know, listen, if the Spurs make the finals, I get it. Wemby's your guy. Okay, you're going to root for Wemby and the Spurs. But you don't even like the way SGA plays. You don't like how he intentionally tries to draw a foul, even if he's just standing there with the ball not in play yet. Okay, so are you mean to tell me that my team, which has not won a title in over 50 years, and that team, which won a title, last year, and you're going to be rooting for that team against my team in the finals?
Can we have ties in basketball?
No.
Then I'll be rooting for OKC.
Oh, my goodness. That is offensive. That hurts.
I'm sorry. For you, David, I hope your Knicks win. I hope I'm wrong. but I can't root. I cannot root for that team. Can't do it. Can't root for the Rangers. Can't root for the Knicks. I can't do it. I don't root for the Giants. I don't root for the Jets. I don't like New York teams. I don't like green eggs and ham, David.
I got it. I got it. You were making it rhyme there. Okay. So you mean to tell me you didn't want the Rangers in 94?
Oh, God, no.
Years.
No, I chanted 1940 to Billy McLaughlin every night of the Turner Cup playoffs because the team I worked for at that time happened to win a championship in 94. And Billy McLaughlin was kind of our broadcast intern, the job that I had. And he was a diehard Ranger fan. And no, I was rooting for Vancouver.
I was rooting for your Wings when it had been, 42 years?
Well, we're different.
You guys had won? You know, everybody deserves a parade.
We're just different that way.
Boy, are we ever.
When you don't live in and around the Northeast, David, there becomes a bias that a lot of us have towards all New York teams.
I get it. Trust me. I'm well aware of it. I know most of you don't like New York teams.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Because it's all I can give you, Enzo. I don't like New York teams. I never have. I'll be happy for David. I won't be happy with what I've got to deal with the media. The media has done this to me. The and I know whatever. Apparently, Charlemagne there's been going to games forever, but it's just annoying. They're annoying. I get that it's the largest city. I don't think it's the best city in the world. I think when I was in New York, and I've only been in New York once, I loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. But I was in Manhattan the whole time, so those aren't real, those aren't diehard New York fans, if you will. Those are a lot of rich people and a lot of tourists. So that doesn't happen anymore, though, Javier. It used to. Boy, did it with both Tampa and New York, but they quit going the way that, I mean, there's still a lot of fans there, don't get me wrong, but it's not like it was. So I will say what is it? Not Peter Luger's, whatever that new burger joint is on Alico for you Southwest Floridians. Their queso appetizer is overpriced and awful, but their smash burger is good. I mean, nothing there's cheap, but their smash burger is good. And I had our Estero Country. It's right by the Costco there. No, that's the irony. The Chuck Lager, yeah, the Chuck Lager. It's not fast food. No, it's a sit down place. It's good. No. It's Chuck Loggers is the name of the place. And from the looks of it, I think Monday through Thursday, basically for lunch, you can get any of their handhelds and a drink for $13. And that's not a bad price anymore. Service was good. They gave us, because it was our first time, they gave us a coupon to come back for a free appetizer. I was fine with the place. We were there pretty early. I don't know how well it'll do. It's a tough spot. Yes, the old chili spot. That's exactly it, Ryan. Yeah, I mean they did a nice job. I mean, it's very clean. The patio looks like it's nice, but I will say the ECC smash burger was tasty yesterday. Yeah, they spent a long time getting that place ready. It's funny, better have some money in the bank, because when you open in May or late April, that's a tough time to open a restaurant down here.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So, by the way, we're talking about pitchers and just how special they are to watch. I don't want to take this Ohtani guy for granted because, well, he homered yesterday and then he threw 7 no-hit innings. I just thought I'd mention that. This is Major League Baseball, by the way. This is not high school. He's not the shortstop who pitches once a week. This is the Major League Baseball.
But was he playing a Major League team?
Yes. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes. I know. They're basically the Mets with different uniforms. I got it.
I mean, they are again very quickly the worst team in baseball. They started out winning a few games, they won their first series, but the Rockies are already 17 games below 500.
Yes, they are. They've picked up right where they left off. There's no
Yep.
question about it. Well, I have to admit, I knew the baseball gods were going to turn on them. They swept the Mets and they made fun of them. And I remember thinking to myself, have you guys seen what you've done the last 3 years? Are you sure you want to go there? Really?
Right, like the White Sox, you haven't seen any comments from the White Sox, really. They took a little shot at the Cubs, that's fair, before interleague play and their series with the Cubs. Right. That's a Chicago thing. I think we can all accept that. But if they would have swept the Yankees or won 2 of 3 from the Yankees and posted something, you'd have been like, guys, stop it.
Yeah. Do we need to show the standings from the last 2 years?
Right. I mean,
take it easy there, big fella.
I mean, the White Sox are still above 500, and we're not hearing, social media pops out of the White Sox organization. So, yes. Speaking of the Yankees, by the way, boy, do they beat up on bad teams.
Well, they beat up on this one. Oh, my goodness.
You and I are old enough to remember when the Royals were basically the Yankees farm club.
Right. They've beaten the Royals now 14 times in a row. That includes the playoffs. Damn. I mean, that's going back into 2024. Yikes. So, yeah, we have to remember that. It used to be the Twins. Whenever you saw the Yankees playing the Twins, you loaded up on the Yankees. Now we got to load up on the Yankees when they play the Royals. Hey, did you see something yesterday in baseball that happened, 6 months early? The Major League Baseball Players Association made a formal offer to the Major League Baseball owners and commissioner. They said, hey, let's get this ball rolling. We know you won't like it, but here's where we're starting off. We'll work our way down. And they made a legitimate offer. Basically, they want to double the minimum wage. I mean, who doesn't, Mark? But minimum wage is around $7.50, and they want to make it $1.50. Okay. And they want to raise the competitive balance tax threshold from $244 million to $300 million. See, right now you reach that second tax, the one that the Rays pay their players off of, at $244. The union now is saying that the Rays and the Pirates aren't going to get any money from us to spend until your payroll's $300 million. So, it's an official proposal. Here you go. The contract doesn't expire until 6 months from Monday.
This is great news to Miller and Moulton, because we were very worried that the majority of this baseball season would go on without communication. And they met essentially informally, 3 weeks ago, where the baseball people, actually Major League Baseball, went to the players' union offices to sit down and have a meeting and just kind of talk. And that was the start. And from that talk a couple, 3 weeks ago, now there's a formal proposal. And David, you kind of spelled out the bottom of it, but the other side of it is, it's lowering the top end tax. Like the Dodgers would have paid $70 million less in tax under the system that the players proposed. So while trying to get more money for themselves, they're telling the teams that are spending money, you're not going to have to subsidize the teams that refuse to be competitive anymore. And it's an interesting tactic to me, David, without getting into all the money, because I think that I think people just tune out when you start going 70 million here, 300 million here. I think it just from a tactical standpoint, what do the top owners not want to do? They don't want to, they would be fine with the salary cap, but their big beef is the amount of money they're paying to teams that won't spend anything on salary. Well, you've just told the Dodgers owner he can save $70 million. This is an interesting tactic.
And this is where Manfred is going to struggle to get 23. Because there are 7 big market owners. Remember, owners need 75% approval. 22 and 8 doesn't get it done for the owners. They need 23 to 7 to pass anything. Well, there are 7 big money owners that are not happy with all the tax revenue that they're sending to Milwaukee. Not happy at all. That is the other thing right now, Mark. All right, now it changed overnight, but until last night in the American League West, you had the Rays, you had the Guardians, you had the A's, and you had the Brewers in first place. Only the Braves and the Dodgers were considered, big boys. And to what degree of big boys? So it's another reason why you've got the owners looking at the players going, come on now.
And we have said that the biggest hurdle, and the other side of this that I think is very wise, and they may have discussed this, that the players were going to give a proposal first. But with the players doing it first, what have we been saying for months now? The owners have a problem with one another. The owner's biggest foe right now is not the players' union. It's the other owners. So what did the players do? They put a proposal in front of the owners first. Here, guys. And the owners can't decide amongst themselves what they want to do. So tactically, I think this was a very smart move by the Players Association. Another smart move is to tune in for the starting 5 next.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Ryan, I think that number's 12 or 13. I mean, DC, sorry. I think that number's 12 or 13. Because I know, obviously, they didn't get the Tigers. Yeah, he does. They can't hit, though. They're not scoring runs at all. I mean, I know they lost 10-6 the other day, and they won 3 spit or 4 spit last night. Their run production's awful. Awful. But yes, he seems like he's a good player.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us to talk all things NFL a little bit later in the show. During the off season, Pat will join us Thursdays at 8 Eastern. That'll be his weekly visit, Thursdays at 8 Eastern. All right. I'll let you decide. I know this has been my thing over the years, but I'll let you decide. We are 93 days away from week 0 of the college football season. Now, I'm not a week 0 guy. But let's face it, week 0 is going to become week 1 here, if not next year, probably by the year after. But we are 98 days away, 14 weeks from tonight, from week 1 of the college football season, the Thursday before Labor Day weekend.
So we're hot 104, the flame-throwing FM away from the NFL season is what you're telling me?
Correct. All right. Now, I don't know if 98 and 104 are two rocking FMs where everyone lives. One could be pop, one could be rock, one might be country. But anyway, the magic numbers that we would go by in the past would be 98 and 104. My question to you is, some years we waited for both numbers to be under triple digits. Some years we waited till just one.
Well, I'd like to see them both get under triple digits. I will say week 0 is the actual countdown date. I would take you on with that. North Carolina, TCU, North Carolina State, Virginia, and even San Jose State, USC all qualify in my book. Hell, San Jose State and USC is better than cupcake weekend games.
So, all right.
But I think we can hold out until next week to give the NFL. I mean, because that what?
Well,
I mean, it'll be Tuesday, right?
Correct. Monday, June 1st will be 100 days from the Patriots-Seahawks Super Bowl rematch to kicking off the season, because it kicks off on a Wednesday.
Right. And given the fact that June 1st is my mother's birthday, I want her to have the day to herself without any countdowns. We can start on June 2nd.
Okay. So there you have it. So for those that have been inquiring, all right, that's how close we are. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Yeah. When a series isn't mathematically over, but it's over, that's what's going on in the Eastern Conference of the NHL. Colorado had much more life left in them, down 3-0 against Vegas, than Montreal seemingly has right now, down 3-1 against Carolina. Carolina only played 8 games in sweeping the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Montreal played the distance, both series, 14. Yeah, it's starting to pay dividends. Montreal looks shot. Carolina's the better team. They're skating them into the ground.
David, this is proving my theory of the NHL playoffs, that as the playoffs go on, they're not as exhilarating. that the first round sometimes is the best round. And the first two rounds were both great. The conference finals on both sides have been largely a dud.
Carolina forced spit. Montreal got worse as the game went on. Well, I don't know. I guess their best period was the second period because they did give up 3 goals late in the first period.
Yeah, like in a 2 minute, under 3 minutes. It was turn your head, go to the bathroom, come back, it's 3-0. Wow.
But Carolina outshot Montreal 43-18. Montreal had 2 shots on goal in the third period. Actually 3. Because shots on goal after 2 periods were 24-15. Carolina outshot Montreal 19-3 in the third. Got an empty net goal for their efforts. 4-0 Carolina. Freddie Anderson with the shutout. And Carolina has a chance tomorrow night in Raleigh to do something that they've only done 2 other times. Go to the Stanley Cup Finals. They went in 0-2 and got beat by the Wings in 5. They went in 0-6 and nearly blew it, but held off Edmonton in 7. Could be a great final. Don't know how many are going to watch Las Vegas and Carolina.
What was it, game 2 there? Former, here I am in Southwest Florida, former Everblade and Hurricane Stanley Cup winner Chad LaRose doing the siren there that they do.
Yes. And since they won, make sure he's on the rotation for the finals. I know you're thinking of people more prominent, but hey, at this time of year, okay, we're superstitious as you know what. We want winners.
There, he's prominent. He had a great playoff, earned him a really nice contract. Really nice contract.
And you're right. They love him in Raleigh.
They should.
Helped them win a cup. NBA Game 6 tonight. Does Oklahoma City return to the finals? The Knicks are waiting. Game 6 tonight out west. Oklahoma City up 3-2 at San Antonio. Spurs a 3.5-point favorite. 8:30 on NBC. The NBA Finals are going to start Wednesday, June 3rd, period. Doesn't matter if OKC advances to the final tonight or this series goes the distance and who wins. Doesn't matter because whoever wins is hosting the first 2 games of the finals. They have it all over the Knicks. They won like a dozen more games than the Spurs and the Knicks, and Oklahoma City won like 14 more games. So they've got home court in the finals. Baseball. Man, just like that. Well, end of last week, we said Rays are never losing again. Maybe we just got one word wrong. They're never winning again? What's going on? 4 in a row. Baltimore swept them, beat them 11-2. Gunnar Henderson with 2 homers. Okay. Blaze Alexander with a homer and 6 RBIs. Tampa Bay's lead is reduced to 1.5 games in the East. Because the Yankees, as we mentioned earlier, they've won 4 in a row. And they've beaten Kansas City 14 times in a row. Garrett Cole shut out baseball into the 7th. He struck out 10. Yankees 7-0 over the Royals. Boston with a 6-run 4th. Snapped the 5-game skid, beat the Braves 8-0. Marlins ended up losing the series in Toronto. Blue Jays won the decisive game 2-1. Okamoto with the game-winning homer in the 6th for Toronto. And the Blue Jays are just 2 games below the Mendoza line which has them just, I believe, one half game even, out of a playoff spot. Mets doubled up Cincinnati 4-2. Soto's homered in 6 of 7 games, and that's how bad the Mets are. They snapped the 5-game losing skid with the 4-2 win. Anybody paying attention to Christopher Sanchez and the Phillies? He is 44 and 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. You know, Hershiser did 59 in a row. We're like 2 7-inning starts away from that. 7 shutout innings. Phillies beat the Padres 3-0. Ohtani homered through 7 no-hit innings. Dodgers beat the Rockies 4-1. Dodgers' lead in the West is now 4.5 over both San Diego and Arizona. Diamondbacks have now won 10 of 11. They swept the Giants 3-2. Milwaukee was no hit through 7 and trailed St. Louis 1-0. So they rallied for 2 in the 8th and beat the Cardinals 2-1. The Cubs snapped their 10-game losing streak. Beat Pittsburgh 10-4. Guardians avoided the sweep at the hands of the Nats. Cleveland beat them 3-2. White Sox over the Twins 15-2. They had a 5-run 5th and 7th for good measure. Tigers shut out the Angels 4-0. 5 pitchers combined on a 2-hitter. For Detroit, you saw Torkelson homing. Seattle's won 3 in a row. They beat the A's 9-1. They're now, what, a game below 500, but they're in first. And
That's correct.
And that's all we can say. In fact, I might have said too much already. Houston beat Texas 4-3. Jordan Alvarez hit 2 homers for the second game in a row for Houston. NFL. Interesting situation in Wisconsin. Green Bay running back Josh Jacobs, he's now out of jail, and his arrest on several domestic violence charges, one of them a felony, they now say is pending further investigation.
Yeah, no formal charges have been made, okay? That does need to be pointed out.
Which is not what they were implicating yesterday.
Right.
The Jacobs camp's feeling pretty good. They issued 2 statements yesterday. That's how well the day was going. So the authorities said that there's new information, and it'll definitely affect whether or not there are charges, and the severity of them. We'll get back to you. Okay. Ravens and Lamar Jackson are working on a new deal, even though he's got 2 years left on a contract. They're working on it because his cap hit next year is over $84 million. That would be the second highest cap hit in the league. Tough to do much with that kind of a cap hit from your quarterback. Kirby Smart hints the SEC should leave the NCAA if they can't reach a deal on a college football playoff system. I dare you. I dare you. You've got one network, by the way. I dare you. Boy. The Protect College Sports Act. Did you hear about this, Mark?
Yes.
Bipartisan bill in the Senate. 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. They introduced it yesterday. It would create a salary cap, some antitrust exemption, which would be very important, 5 years eligibility for all athletes, and you can only transfer once without having to face a penalty. Just saying. Charles Schwab Challenge underway later today at Hogan's Alley at Colonial. That's it. 7 minutes before the hour. That was starting five big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton.
We got some food talk to get to, David. Today is National Hamburger Day. And in good measure, I had a burger yesterday, so I won't want one today. But that doesn't mean I couldn't be persuaded, because I don't know when there's a bad day to have a hamburger. That's all I got for you. Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan coming up at the 8 o'clock hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live. Full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton. You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks for being with us, Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan, 1 hour from now. Burgers, huh?
It's National Burger Day, National Hamburger Day. And a lot of questions were asked between the chat room and the text line of whether you're a smash burger guy, a regular burger guy. I'm guessing you're still just a fast food burger guy. I mean, maybe you do burgers when you go to restaurants, but I have this feeling that when you go to restaurants, you deviate from burgers because most of your days are spent eating hamburgers from various drive-thrus.
No, I will actually go a little crazy if I'm going to sit down at a restaurant, if I'm going to use real silverware. I'm going to try to get the best darn thing on the menu.
Yeah, so your burgers are limited mostly to drive-thrus, right?
Well, I eat far more burgers through drive-thrus than I do anywhere else. Yeah. I mean, not even close. I mean, I don't know if I eat a burger a month sitting down inside a restaurant. I mean, does sitting down inside a Burger King count?
Not really. No, I mean that's what I'd say. I mean, so people are asking, are you a smash burger guy, a regular burger guy? My guess was, like you just said, when you're at a restaurant, you don't typically order burgers. So you're neither. You're a fast food burger guy.
Right. That's fair.
It's not a knock. It's just, a fact.
Yeah.
I've had burgers the last 2 times I've been in restaurants. They were both delicious. Both a smash burger at 2 different restaurants.
Now, this isn't something that you can eat regularly, is it?
Oh, I can eat burgers every day.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah.
I just know there are certain things that you have to be careful about. I thought these were one of them.
No, because it's yes, if it were a regular hamburger, because I can't eat any medium rare meat, uncooked food, and smash burgers are cooked all the way through. So that's kind of why I go in that direction, because I'm not going to get something that hasn't been cooked. You go to a few burger places, like there's a burger place in Naples that I'm very fond of. You order a burger medium there, that thing's mooing at you. So I can't take the chance of that right now. So
Right.
Yes, from that standpoint, regular burgers are kind of like a steak for me. They're off the menu. So one day again, I'll be able to eat a steak and a medium rare burger. Although I've gotten to the point with hamburgers that it makes me nervous. I don't trust places that don't cook a hamburger all the way through. That, I worry about their quality of meat and that I could get sick from it. So I prefer my burger to be cooked. I don't want it to be a hockey puck. I want juice. I just don't want it rare. That's all. I mean, that's basically raw hamburger. Whereas a steak, it's a little bit, I need some pink in there, even some red for that matter.
Okay. So what's the poll question you were thinking of?
I wasn't really thinking of a poll question for burgers. I just mentioned it was National Burger Day. It's not like a hot dog thing. Do you put ketchup on them? Which, by the way, we had people over on Memorial Day, David, friends of ours that we met basically through our daughter, and we've been friends with them since their kids were 18 months old. So we've been friends with them for basically 10 years, a little bit more. And I made brats and hot dogs. And they have a younger daughter and 2 girls, twins that are the same age as my daughter. And the younger one had a brat. And I had everything out. I had some pickles out. I had sauerkraut. I had onions. But I didn't have any ketchup out.
Yeah, because you had everything out.
I told my family earlier that day, I said, "Oh, we're out of ketchup, by the way." And my wife said, "You want me to run and get some?" I'm like, "No, they're out. There's a national shortage. There's no ketchup anywhere." And my wife looked at me because I do all of the grocery shopping. And for a half a second, she went, well, because it was Memorial Day and she didn't know it was open. She's like, do I need to run to 7-Eleven? I'm like, no, they're out too. And then it finally dawned on her that I wasn't going to put ketchup out. And I reluctantly allowed all of them to have ketchup because I didn't want to fight on my hands. But while I put ketchup on the young one's brat, I took it out of the refrigerator and did it. I made gagging sounds. Like, you're ruining this. Like, I try to teach them young, even though it doesn't work. But I don't know. I mean, for a poll question for a burger, what's your favorite burger? Smash burger, regular burger, fast food burger? I could go there.
I mean, do you go ham or cheese? Do you throw bacon on it? Like, I actually am not thrilled with bacon on a hamburger.
Yeah, I don't do bacon on hamburgers. I'll do, if I want bacon, I'll do a BLT. I'm right there with you, David. I'm right there with you.
Okay. I was a little surprised a moment ago. Maybe I was just reading in a little too much, like Jim Mandich accused me of doing. You got all of that from watching 4 seconds of that. But I mentioned the story of the bipartisan bill that was introduced in the Senate yesterday. And I must admit, the people introducing it, not extremes of either party. Also, 2 of the members, one Republican, one Democrat, are pretty important voices on the Commerce Committee. And this bill, to me, should be taken a lot more seriously than anything else that's been talked about in the last 5+ years. Because this is talking about Congress doing what they can do, which cannot be overturned by the courts, which is giving the sport of college football antitrust exemption status so that they can put a rule in place and it can stick, as opposed to what's happened in the last 5 to 15 years, which is any time the NCAA tries to put a rule in place that limits the athletes in any way, they get taken to court and they lose, period. So, Mark, when they're talking about a salary cap, when they're talking about antitrust exemptions, 5 years of eligibility for all athletes, you get 1 free transfer. Then it's like going back to the old days. You're going to have to sit out time. Oh, by the way, coaches can't be hired while their season is still going on. Translation, LSU couldn't have hired Lane Kiffin this college football season.
All right. I have a ton of questions, and I don't know if you have any answers for these questions. Right now, we have this SCORE Act of which they're allowed to spend $20.5 million per year on all their teams. Ohio State's spending more than double that on their football team. How is this bill more enforceable than what they've already passed?
Well, I'm reading through it right now, and basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to put, if the parties want to come back to the table and say, let's raise the cap to 50% of revenue, the bill allows them to do that.
I got you. Okay, but if a team goes over it, like if the third party, if the NIL money, I mean, because there was oh goodness, they tried to put this other act up recently. They tried to put another bill in front, and what was it? The Black Caucus basically came out strongly against it, and the bill never got even presented. So I don't know how this will get through those barriers, first off. And secondly, they've been anti-cap. So I'm just, and while the schools may be for the cap, their boosters aren't. So I guess just in terms of the money part of this, I love the idea of it, David. I just don't see this group. How do they enforce it? What do they do if a team pays their wide receiver $5 million more on the side? I'm just trying to figure out how this without there being, collective bargaining. I don't know how they can stop payments.
Well, clearly it would be challenged in court, but at least this bill, the Protect College Sports Act, I mean, it would have more teeth than everything else they've talked about in the last 15 years combined. Antitrust status? That's a game changer. That basically says they can do almost what the hell they want.
David, I don't mean to sound cynical here, but aren't they doing whatever the hell they want right now?
Well,
I mean,
not officially on the books.
Okay.
But I know what you're saying. But I mean, actually put a system in place that has teeth. And they could have both sides upset with the system and go, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. You wanted solutions. Here's the solution. Suck it up.
And look, I do applaud the president of the SEC saying we need this. I applaud Kirby for saying we can just go do our own thing if we don't get help. I just don't think those that are paying the bills in college football want to stop making sure their team is the best team.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332516.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Aurora, you would have loved Halo Burger in Flint, Michigan. That was their thing. Olives on the burger. That was like their regular burger. I don't believe Halo Burger exists anymore. Oh, it's still there. The Halo Burger is still around. Now it's just the olive burger, but back in the day, that was their thing. Well, they've got a Flint Coney. How many are they down to? Look at. Wow, there's a few Halo Burgers around. They even make their way to the metropolitan Detroit area. 4 in Flint, 1 in Fenton. One looks like it's around Farmington Hills, and another in Sterling Heights, Paula. Oh, and Birch Run at the outlets there. Whew. I never used to like olives, so I did not like the Halo Burger back in the day. Green olives, Robes. It was green olives. I like olives now. I don't necessarily like plain olives. I can make a, like, what was it, the tapenade, and put that on a little piece of bread and enjoy it quite nicely. No, I did not, Javier. I did not spend a lot of time in Detroit. I went to Detroit for games and left. Park in Greektown, have a couple of dogs, and make my way to the game. Or go to a bar and take the, for it's my daughter's order when she goes to, not the fried egg part, but the bison burger at Ford's. She's a big fan. Probably her favorite burger. I will say to you folks that are anti-bacon, of which I'm not a bacon on a burger guy, if you're going to put bacon on a burger, you might as well put a fried egg on there too. At that point, might as well give me bacon and eggs. And then do cornbread Maxwell imitations while you're eating it. David, you have muted yourself, just so you know.
Oh, I know. And then when you said cornbread Maxwell, I said, Violent Palmer?
You got to do that. If you're going to have bacon and egg on a burger, could we have some bacon? Could we have some egg? No, I played yesterday, and I was awful. Worst round I've had since I've been back.
I didn't like it, Bob and Jake.
I remember Fuddruckers.
There was one in Fargo when I first got out there.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
"21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan to join us in about 40 minutes' time here on Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So, in doing some more reading up, just quickly, this bill is intended to bring costs down. Okay, it is. And it is intended, to even the big boys go, yeah, you want it to be more than 20 million a year? Okay, fine, you can negotiate that, but it needs to be negotiated, and everybody has to play by the same rules. All right, so this is an attempt at reining in salaries.
And I guess I understand that. I get that that's what they're trying to do. My biggest question, I don't mean to just be a contrarian here. The 20.5 million was meant to put a cap on, but I guess without knowing what the penalties are for going over, without stopping the third parties, I have trouble seeing how we put the brakes on this right now. I'm all for the brakes, David. I am. You know that. I'm not hearing anything that says, well, if you spend more than X, what do we take away? Do players even need scholarships anymore if a wide receiver is making $5 million a year?
Well, athletic ability will be reduced to 5 years. There will be none of these special cases and you trying for more eligibility. It's 5 years. You can transfer once with no penalty. Coaches cannot be hired while the year is still going on.
Love all of those. Love every single thing that you're saying. But the salary cap part, I'm just trying to figure out without collective bargaining, how are we going to stop schools from circumventing the system and paying their players more than someone else is?
Well, as the one senator said, if the parties want to come back to the table and say, let's raise the cap to not that 20 million annually, but to 50% of revenue, the bill allows them to do that. We're not curtailing the opportunity for more revenue sharing. It's important not to let this be a runaway arms race. Ted Cruz said, this is a stability bill, not just an NIL bill. So, I will say the SEC and the Big Ten don't have to play along. If the Big 12 and the ACC and a bunch of other conferences, okay, and let's just say they even get Notre Dame, okay, and if they go and negotiate their own deal, which this bill allows them to do, by the way, okay, the Big Ten and the SEC do not have to play along with that deal. But, there are presidents of schools in those conferences that are quoted in this bill's release, indicating that, we're willing to play ball here, even if it means the football coach is going to have a little bit less to spend than he had gotten used to in the last 12 months.
Look, it's a start. I guess that's all I'll say, because I understand everything that you're telling me. I know that the Georgia president has come out and said that we've got to stop this. I've not seen a lot of other SEC presidents jump on board with what he said. I've not heard Ohio State say they need to curtail spending. I've not heard Texas say it. And my worry is that, okay, 50% of revenue. Whose revenue? The just your school? So Ohio State still gets to spend more than Purdue, and Texas is still spending more than Oklahoma. I'm just trying to figure out who enforces the rules and what are the rules. And right now, I know they're just starting this. I worry that booster. I don't see anything how you're curtailing the third-party booster from paying a kid with NIL. That's all.
Well, in theory, the way I read it, you're going to somehow come to an agreement as to how much money it is you can spend. And it's up to somebody at that school to tell that booster, Johnny, keep your money in your pocket. We can't take it. Okay? It'd be illegal. If we take it, we're breaking the rules. No. There's real rules on the books, Johnny. Okay?
We're going to take away a draft pick. Oh, we don't have those.
No, I know what you're saying. And
I just keep seeing holes in this. And
well, I understand, but they're trying to do something. If they pass a pile of crap that has antitrust status in it, that's a BFD. Because now they can start to do things and win in court. And other schools can hold other schools and go, oh, you can't do that. We agreed to this. You're part of that. You got to play by the rules. Give that money back. Just saying.
No, and I guess I know what you're saying. I guess at the end of the day, my hope would be that the conferences would come together and set their own rules, because I'm just curious. I don't know why we need Congress to do this. And I understand the antitrust part of this. I just think that there are holes no matter what we do, unless the schools come together, because this is being told what to do by Congress. They don't necessarily have to even agree to these rules. They may get these rules shoved down their throat. And with that, people will try to get around the rules. It's a start. I guess it's a start. I should be more positive, but I just have trouble believing Congress is going to help.
Mark, do me a favor. Get the list of conferences in front of you, because I want to have all the members of the SEC and all the members of the Big Ten in front of you. This is a little bit like baseball with what we've been talking about. Big market, non-big market. And there's at least 8 schools that can, align forces to prevent what maybe Manfred and other people want to do. Okay? Pick which conference you want to go through school by school. Okay? And I'm talking about schools who wish, okay, they won't say it publicly, but wish there was a salary cap. 20 million, 30
the
million.
SEC. I don't 50 million. I don't give a damn. Whatever you say it is.
Whatever it is. Name this. Let's go. School by school. Does Alabama want a cap?
Alabama, yes. Arkansas, yes. Auburn, yes. Florida, I would say no. Georgia seems to want one. Kentucky, they don't want one. Not because basketball gets involved and they spend more than anybody. LSU doesn't want one. Ole Miss, that's a maybe to me. Mississippi State's definitely a yes. Missouri's definitely a yes. Oklahoma, maybe. South Carolina, yes, just because they can't afford what the other schools are doing. Tennessee, I would say no. Texas, I would say no. A&M, I would say no. Vandy, I would say yes.
It's pretty close. And I disagree with you. I think Bama and Auburn would not vote for a cap. Okay. But it's pretty close. And the question is, can the cap schools get it passed? Because then you run the risk of the non-cap schools going what?
Going rogue.
Yes. And then they'll join forces with the non-cap schools in the Big Ten. And let's just do our own thing. Blank them.
Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan in 30 minutes. It's National Burger Day. What do you put on your burger? Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating
The
needs.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I guess, Tretherian, I don't see how they could lose NIL deals on this. The NIL would be separate, wouldn't it? Yes, I did, Javier. That was very. I'm sorry I didn't respond. I did read all of that. That was. I thought that was fascinating. I don't know. And ambient, here's the thing. I don't care about the Broncos. Do you think that that's the difference? Do you think signing Von Miller makes them now closer to a Super Bowl, or do you think he's washed up? Because I think the latter. He wants to finish with the team he started. Fantastic. Their defense isn't what prevented them from being in the Super Bowl. Bo Nix getting hurt did, or they go to the Super Bowl. If he signs, if it's for the right amount of money, great. I don't think anybody said it was the Yankees' fault, Tim. We talked about it way earlier, like an hour ago, and all I said was it's not like it once was. They used to sell out those ballparks. They don't show up the way they once did. They've had enough of it. I mean, I don't think the Rays sell out for anybody anymore. I think when they get to Tampa and that new stadium's built, I think that they will sell tickets. Because I think young people in Tampa aren't going. I mean, it's an hour and 20 minutes from where I was to get to St. Pete. Fans want a Super Bowl. They don't. If Von Miller plays there or doesn't play there, the fans don't care. They want to win the last game. They want to get to the last game of the season.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
"22 minutes till the top of the hour." That's when Pat Kirwan will join us to talk all things NFL. You're on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X.
Text line is open. 21,000 is the number. Miller is the keyword. If you've never texted the show before, and I bring that up, it's one sponsored by Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-PELICAN. Hurricane season's about here. Doesn't it start next week, June 1st, right? It's the first day of hurricane season. Time to get that roof checked before the rains begin, or they've already kind of begun, haven't they? We got a text, David, and I want to read it to you because I think that I disagree with the premise of the text, and I already argued with him. I am just curious of your argument. It's about breaking off. We talked about that right at the end of the segment. And he says, I don't think they'll ever break off because at the end of the day, these are federally and state-funded schools. And unless they want to lose funding, they're not going to break off. Plus, at the current rate of spending, it's unsustainable. Well, those are two different issues. But David, the funding is, I mean, to me, in what I said, they've been hopping conferences and doing their own thing for a quarter century. It hasn't ended any funding. It hasn't threatened any funding. I mean, Texas A&M left for the SEC. What did it get? It got Texas in the SEC. So I don't think it loses any funding, any state funding. If they break away and do their own thing, I still don't think it loses any funding. I don't know if you think there's any there with that text, but I wanted to address it.
There have been schools that have lost federal funding in the last 5 years. They've lost it largely due to the Trump administration. They have not lost their federal funding because they've changed athletic conferences. So until there's evidence of that, I disagree with the premise also. There's no doubt, by the way, when we break away, there's going to be lawsuits, the threat of lawsuits. Oh, yeah. And I mean, there's going to be different kinds of lawsuits. There's those that are going to be left on the outside that are going to get a good enough law firm that they get a conference to just go, let them in. I don't want to have to deal with them. I've dealt with that law firm before. Let them in. Okay. And then there's going to be those that are left out. And boy, are they going to be angry. And they're going to sue everybody who's left them out. And it'll be interesting if they can get one judge to agree with them. I mean, what are we talking about now? This Texas Tech quarterback. And what have we been talking about? Getting friendly judges to back athletes in certain states. We'll wait until we start talking about whether or not their beloved alma mater is going to be left jilted, or whether or not they're going to be accepted into the new big money conference.
And David, to me, like when we went through the SEC, like I don't think Alabama and Auburn have the money in the state and the alumni to fund, they would want a cap because I don't think they can keep up with the Joneses. Now, if they were to break away, Alabama and Auburn would break away with them. If they vote, I think they'd try to run with them. But I think those are schools that don't want to say they're for a cap out loud, but when they had a vote inside the room, would vote for a cap.
Off the record and when drunk, I agree with you. They would vote for a cap. They would never publicly vote for a cap because they never want to be seen to their own alumni, never mind to anybody else, that they're not equal to anyone else in the conference.
Right. But we all know I think it's part of the reason Nick left. I don't think Alabama's got when it was under the table money, Alabama could compete. When they're trying to compete with legal money with Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, they don't have that kind of money. They don't.
No, they don't.
Not close.
No. Okay. Nick's system of playing the black athlete through the churches was unprecedented. Couldn't compete with it. LSU was close, man. Georgia was close. But Nick had it lined up, ready to go. Couldn't beat it. Could not beat it. And now,
LSU still has other money. There's oil money in Louisiana. They've got their ways to get money there that Alabama just does not.
Listen, I know it's a joke, but it's the truth. So you mean now that everybody can pay, teams other than the SEC are winning? Huh. I mean, that's not just a one-liner. That's the truth. Because there's a lot of schools that we talked about. Okay. Hey, listen, don't laugh. If Andrew Luck and Stanford are getting serious, I mean, Harvard doesn't have the money set aside that Stanford does. I mean, seriously, if Stanford got really serious about athletics, okay, they'd have more money than everybody. Wouldn't have to raise a dime. Not a dime, as Jim Calhoun famously said.
Yeah, they'd be the most powerful school in California, and that includes USC.
My goodness.
And USC has rich alumni. USC should be able to play ball. They really should, David.
Yeah, no doubt.
UCLA, different story. USC, they should be able to play ball.
And Stanford would be like, yeah, don't even hit our donors up for money for 10 years. Just dip into our endowment. Our endowment is 9 figures. 9 figures is what their endowment is. You really think they have trouble putting a basketball team out on the floor if they want to? Come on.
So I just, like I said, quietly, that's why I said Alabama no on that. You're probably right. If it's a public vote, and I don't think the SEC would ever have a public vote on a cap. I think it would be a private vote. And maybe word would get out. But I don't see Alabama and Auburn voting yes on a cap on a private vote. Public, maybe they would have to, David.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you and I are right about one part of this, which is probably in the early 2030s, that the Big Ten and the SEC is going to come close to breaking away from itself. The haves and the have nots within the have conferences. At some point, Mark, one of those votes has to take place, officially or unofficially, on or off the record. And I mean, I think Alabama would be scared to death. First off, do you really think what takes place behind closed doors is going to stay behind closed doors?
Never does.
Not for something as important as this.
It never does.
Like you don't think Tennessee and LSU and Ole Miss want to get the word out that Alabama doesn't think that they can compete and they don't have the money.
Well, I think this is where I'm torn, David, because I don't think Alabama and Auburn, and in fact, I know they don't have the money that the other schools have. I think they're willing to spend every dollar they have to be good, and that's why they would want a cap. I think they believe if everything's equal, that they can be better than everyone else. So that's why I think they're for a cap. When it becomes unlimited spending, Auburn, the brand is not nearly what Auburn people think it is. The brand of Alabama delivers far more money, but it ain't Texas money.
Well,
it ain't Texas A&M money.
That's the irony in all this. Mark, let's just say you're right about everything that you've said that relates to Alabama. And that at the end of the day, Alabama would go, hey, we'll do what we got to do. But if in honesty, we'd kind of like some sanity to the system here. We'll figure it out. Okay. And when insanity wins, because it always does, the funny thing is the schools that are breaking away in the SEC are all going to look around and go, what do we have to do to get Alabama to come with us? Because after all, Mark, what is it?
It's a TV show, and they're a brand.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a big brand of the television show.
And they're going to want them. They're a top 5 brand, and they're always going to be. In fact, they're a top 3 brand, and it's tough to see them unless they start going 7-5 and 8-4. It's really tough to see them, even at 9-3 and 10-2, not being a top 3 brand.
I'm just trying to have you tell me who 1 and 2 is if they're just top 3. Ohio State and who? Notre Dame? And
I was just counting the SEC.
Okay.
I was counting Texas, and then
because I think they're the top brand. I don't think they're the most money in the SEC, but I think they're the top brand in the SEC. And I think it's inarguable. If you look at TV ratings and all of the things that go with it, Alabama's the number 1 brand. I'm not saying they have the most money. I'm not even saying they're the best team. I'm saying they're the best brand.
They're near the very top. But it will be interesting if, think about it. They've just gone 9-3 and 10-2 back-to-back years. They have 1 playoff win in the last 2 seasons combined. Now, that's inadequate in Tuscaloosa. That's not good enough. And there's a lot of people that think that that's about as well as Alabama's going to be able to do going forward. That they're going to be a 10-2, 9-3 program. And maybe they'll have a couple of runs in December and January, and maybe they won't.
And it's funny, the ESPN era, if you will, since that network came on board, has helped define brands. Trust me, Florida's a big brand. They just haven't been able to compete. If Florida gets their act together, they're quickly a bigger brand than the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs are a big brand because they've been terrific now for what? 8 years? 10 years? Right. So from a brand standpoint, the Gators are right there too. They just don't deliver on their brand. People like to watch the Gators. Steve Spurrier did that for them. And they became a national brand. I mean, the numbers were really good. Indiana helped. Don't think that Miami becoming Miami again wasn't a big part of the television numbers this year. They've always moved the needle. Florida teams move the needle. They do.
It's going to be so ugly when the breakaways happen in the SEC and the Big Ten, and then those remaining schools look around and they look at their brethren and go, no, we don't want you. Get Miami on the phone. Get Notre Dame on the phone. I know they've been down lately. Get Florida State on the phone. Okay.
And I will be, and because of money, I don't think they're a brand yet. And I don't know if they'll ever be a brand, if you know what I mean. But the Big 12 school that's most likely to me to make the jumps, Texas Tech. Why? Because they've got the most damn money.
And then on top of that, they have the most desire. And if they don't have the most money and the most desire, the next school's BYU.
Thank you. I knew that's where you were going. I left that one for you because they have the money. Lots of it.
And they got a built-in audience, no matter when you schedule the game.
Speaking of scheduling of games, something Pat Kirwan's been talking about for years, has other people talking about it. We'll discuss it with Pat Kirwan and all things NFL next. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Mark,
Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to hear your voice today.
Oh, how are things? You back home?
I'm in Jersey, dealing with this infection still, and it's not going away yet.
Dang.
Yeah.
How did this come up? You just all of a sudden get sick?
No. The day before I left Florida, I went back to my dermatologist. I had a little skin cancer on my left forearm. I've had them before, and he just took it out, put stitches in there, and he said, "You won't have to come back." And I said, "Well, I can't because I'm leaving tomorrow." And I went up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everything was great. In fact, on Sunday, I threw about 100 passes to my grandson. He was getting ready for some camp he was going to. Monday, I drove up to the lake to open the lake house, and it was okay, but I didn't feel great Monday night. I kind of went to bed at 8 o'clock. I thought I was just going to take a nap and then go down to the club and get something to eat, but I woke up on Tuesday morning instead. By Tuesday afternoon, I was feeling really out there, and I went to the hospital and asked to have a look at it, and I never left the hospital for 3 days. And then I felt well enough to drive to Jersey. I wanted to get right back down here rather than stay up there at the country hospital. And they got me on antibiotics, which they've had me on since I went to the hospital, but it's getting better, but it's not better. And it's been a while now. So I'm planning on seeing a doctor today.
Okay, good.
But, who knows? Kind of frustrating, really, but.
Yeah, but at least you're where you get good doctors. I mean, not that you can't get them down here, but you're not up at the country house, so you've got options.
Yeah, well, when I was at the country house Tuesday, I drove myself to the hospital, which is about a 25-mile drive, but it was just a country hospital and kind of horseshit. But what were my choices at that moment? Not many. So we'll see what today brings. I got my son, my brother, who is it? My son-in-law, Kevin McGill, his aunt, who he's very close to, is a big doctor down here, and she's trying to set up a time to see me this morning after I get done with this.
Well, if you got to go, if they call and say, get here now, you go. I mean,
Yeah.
Health is first.
Yeah, well, without it, you don't have anything. And who knows better than you, mister?
Yeah.
I never miss a show.
Well, I mean, some of us can work through this stuff, Pat. Others can't.
You are such a fuck. Oh, Doc.
I couldn't help it.
No, but as long as you tell me that it didn't affect your golf swing, then you got it all. You got everything back.
My golf swing is what it is. Some days it's good, some days it's not.
Yeah, mine is more inclined to be some holes it's good, some holes it's not.
Got that right. I played like a dog yesterday. First bad round I've had since I've been back. It was awful.
How's the weather today?
Hot.
Yeah. How about those blades, baby? I watched that one last night. They are something else.
If you say so. Couldn't tell you a thing about them. Don't pay any attention. They got enough of my life. They get no more.
I know. But they didn't get any of my life, and I enjoy watching. They're so much better than the teams they play.
Well, I mean, they're very much Texas or Ohio State. They spend the most money.
Yeah. Now, all I keep hearing from my friends is the Western champion's pretty good. Oh, David.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. Coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
He will join us at this day and time throughout the off season, which we deem to be the end of May through the end of July. And then once he starts heading out on the road on training camp tours, well, obviously the season is underway again. He's Pat Kirwan, co-host of Moving the Chains, weekdays 3 to 6 on SiriusXM NFL Radio. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers. Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, fellas. It's
under
good to
the
hear
weather
your voices, and
lately.
one day
How
a
are
week
you?
is kind of restrictive, but probably the right thing to do. I keep thinking there's plenty of things to talk about, but the fans are kind of taking a break from football, which happens after the draft every year, so I get it. But it's a good time to look at trends in the game. Of course, every GM in the league is scared to death of arrests, which we've had a couple, injuries, which we've had a couple. And then the good news, some of these clubs are doing some damn good deals. Like the Derwin James and the Jack Campbell deals are very, very good for the clubs, which is good to see. So that kind of stuff is going on. And this camp tour might be different, David, because Jake Hester has his own relationships. So many coaches that he had at LSU are in the NFL as assistants. So we're going to try to take advantage of maybe 2 or 3 different places we don't go a lot because he has relationships with those guys. So I think it'll be an interesting summer. And when that happens, I always enjoy calling you while I'm out on the road. But how are you guys doing?
As well as can be expected, Pat. There are, good days and bad days. That's how it goes right now. But I'm doing great. David had a couple of things last week. We're getting there. Hey, Pat, for a long time now, and we've had you on for damn near as long as we've been doing a show together. And 10 years or so ago, you were the first one that I know that said, these Thursday night games are a problem. And now we've got Thursday night games. We've got Sunday night games. We've got Monday night games. Hell, we're playing Wednesdays. And Pat, for the first time, outside of maybe the two of us agreeing with you, there are actually people with microphones complaining that Sundays are not what they used to be. And Pat, I've heard you talk about this for damn near 10 years, that now Sundays at 1 have lost a lot of their luster. First up, do you think the NFL even cares? Do you think they recognize that this could be a problem of not owning Sundays? Because Sunday was football day. And does it matter to the NFL at all that the Sunday product is watered down?
Well, no, because the new partners that they have that are willing to spend ridiculous amounts of money to broadcast a game don't want Sunday at 1 o'clock. The NFL also has the conflict of having as many free TV games as possible with the antitrust stuff. So Fox, CBS, Sunday afternoon, no one said the quality of the games had to be X, Y, or Z. They just had to have a certain volume and percentage of games that were free. So that's where they came from. And then you want to feature all these other days. It's interesting you brought it up to start this off, because not counting weeks 17 and 18, because they haven't declared yet who's going to be on. But if you look at short week games, and that would be Wednesday now, can you imagine? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all short week games. We're going to have close to 30 of those games. We already have 25 locked up without the last 2 weeks. So it'll be about 30. And that means 60 teams. And so the NFL loves to tell you there's no higher risk of injury, but they always leave out how many guys couldn't play, which is what we bring up on this show a lot, because of the short week recovery time. They couldn't do it. So, yeah, I think they've lost all respect for the players. I was on with Lorenzo Neal yesterday, and you know what Lorenzo Neal's comment was? He goes, I love football, and that's what they're counting on from guys like me, that we love football. But I found out as my career went on that the NFL doesn't love me. Maybe that's how to look at this. And, they're going to go to 18 games. And then you and I and the three of us know that there's going to be more midweek games and shorter weeks for everybody. So I don't think they're losing. They're going to stop doing that. I don't think they even ask the players or the coaches about it. I think there's a real blessing, David, for teams that are not good, because they get a lot of Sunday 1 o'clockers and they're happy as could be. You want to leave that open for me? Perfect time to go. The family that goes on vacation in September when school starts because everything's half price. That's what Sunday at 1 o'clock feels like.
But Pat, about 10 years ago, it started to happen, and then it stopped on a dime and quickly went away. There were NFL teams that had attendance issues, and there was more than 3 or 4. And not all of them were bad teams either.
Right.
Remember, we were talking about teams were going to have to do what the Falcons did, which was make their concession prices the cheapest in the league, and yet they led the league in concession sales. I thought they were going to have to include parking in with the ticket prices, and then out of nowhere, all that went away. No one has an attendance problem anymore. The price for parking alone is enough to make you cough uncontrollably. And so, Pat, once again, it's one thing for us to start complaining about things, but we don't have an attendance problem and we don't have a viewership problem. And until we get one, never mind both, if I were the NFL and somebody walked into my office bringing one of these two things up, I would say, the next time you do that, you're fired.
I think that happens, number one. Number two, they're not always truthful about, and so they get away with not really declaring no-shows. The ticket was sold and no one's there. I think the Steelers 2 years ago, I asked them, how many no-shows did you have? There's the question to ask, because that guy didn't show up. He didn't pay for parking. He didn't buy a beer. He didn't buy a hot dog or a program. But they had enough no-shows that it was about the same as 2 home games spread out over the season. And those things are issues that don't get declared as problems. They never tell you about the no-shows. They tell you what the walk-up crowd is and everything else. But so I don't think it's totally solved. I do know that a lot of people call my show complaining when a game gets switched to a night game from a day game, and all of a sudden the guy can't go because of work. So they don't care about that either. So I don't know if they're the evil empire, but we both know, all three of us know, that until there's a reaction from fans that causes a financial crisis, they're not going to change. And now they're just moving on. You tell me, David, you're not only the GM, you're the attorney for the three of us. Are they going to win an antitrust case if it goes to court?
Well, right now they have the protection, but I don't think the first person who's got the 5 years and the money, when their 1 o'clock Sunday game on no notice gets moved to Monday Night Football, okay, and it was a big deal for their family and this, that, and the other thing, and they decide they're going to take whatever team to court, they're going to win. It's going to take 5 years, but they're going to win.
Yeah. So there is a vulnerability there, and maybe I've said this 1,000 times. The only thing that's going to stop the NFL is the NFL.
Yep.
There's no competitor for them. They're the big monster, and nothing else compares to it at all in the United States. So until the machine gets stopped because they've teetered too close to the edge of the cliff here, we're going to have to deal with all this stuff. So, yeah. I don't, look, we thought Kaepernick, remember the Kaepernick thing when people said they were never going to watch football again? Most of them returned in a year or two. And I found that out just from our callers. But I think this thing is going to be out of the hands of the fans. and in the hands of the government, and they might look at this altogether different. I don't know why the NFL keeps pushing for more. They make an awful lot of money. Their clubs are worth. You tell me what Seattle is going to get for the sale of that team.
9.
Yeah, and if they get 2 people competing on it today, it might get pushed to 10. So as long as that's happening, as I've said many times in this show, I remember when the Patriots were creating fear among the owners because they couldn't get anything for the Patriots. So the NFL took it over, polished up the stadium, hired Parcells, put them in there, and put the for sale sign back on the lawn because they were going to get value for that thing, so it didn't affect the value of all the other clubs. So they do have a sense of that, which leads me to, and I know the real answer, but I have my own opinion. Like, I'm tired of the NFL selling clubs to the highest bidder and ignoring that maybe the highest bidder is a bad guy to be an owner in this league. Sometimes the guy who came in second in the bidding was the perfect guy to know and understand how to be a league owner. But they seem to take that risk too, because they got some owners that are just doozies.
Yeah, you know the answer. It would be nice to maybe get the most competent person, but they want the highest bidder because the other 31 franchises want the highest bidder, because what does that do? It makes their franchise worth more. So, Seattle's going to go to whoever's going to spend the most money, Pat. I don't think there's any question there. And back to what you guys were both talking about, I will say we're in a different spot here in Florida where fans are a little more fickle. They're not generational fans. I will say, though, as someone who actually has Pittsburgh Steelers season tickets, night games and Monday night games, Sunday night games, Thursday night games are a problem when I'm reselling tickets. They are. Yeah. Sunday at 1 sells, except for the final week of the season.
No, I mean, you're just driving home the point. So those things are all part of it. They don't really broadcast that reality of the no-shows. So we deal with all of it. To me, I'm more interested in the football part of it and how the club's looking and who's doing what and how much growth really is there in 12 personnel and 13. Kind of boring, but if you're a real football fan and you're tired of just the same old conversations, you are interested in that stuff. And so we'll see where it all takes us.
He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio. More with Pat on Miller and Moulton right after this.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
How you feeling, David? I hear you. Here's a funny one, Mark. The other day, I ran a survey on the show just to get something going with them. And I said, look, last year, 8 teams won 12 or more games. The year before, 7 teams won 12 or more games. I said, so name the 7 teams that are going to win 12 or more games this year. I mean, I had 4 of us take the little quiz just to see. And you know what was amazing? Nobody picked Jacksonville, who had 13 wins. No one picked New England, who had 14 wins. No one picked the 49ers, who had 12. No one picked Pittsburgh. No one picked Green Bay. No one picked Dallas. It was kind of amazing how people at this point perceive the level of success that might happen.
Well, I'll answer your question with the question, because a lot of those things I agree with. Who's the team? And I should ask you, wait until you get on air, but I'm going to ask you right now anyhow. Who's the team that was good last year that you feel got better in the offseason? Like, I do think Denver's the same. Denver didn't really lose anybody. Their quarterback has another year. I think Denver's going to be good again. I do. But Jacksonville, I don't see that being. I don't think they got better. I think their draft was horrible. I don't know any. Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago. I mean, who are the good teams that you go, oh, that roster's every bit as good was a year ago?
Yeah. So I think the Buffalo. Everyone picked Buffalo 4 for 4. Everyone picked Denver for 4 for 4. So they're still riding high. 3 people took Houston, me being one of them. I do think that the quarterback will bounce back enough to go with that defense. So I think I probably would take them over Jacksonville to win the division. And I picked them for at least 12 wins. So I'd add them. The Rams was an easy answer. Everyone's kind of liking them.
Yep, I'm with you there.
I think Philadelphia, I picked Philly to have a 12-win season.
Okay.
And the other team that, you got to take a few risks. So I was one of 2 to take Detroit to win 12 games.
I looked at their schedule. I can see them going 12-5 easily. I could also see them going 9-8.
Well, that's that deep-rooted Detroit history.
Yeah, well, I don't think they got better. I mean, this was the best offensive line in the league 3 years ago. They lost 60% of the line, and they moved their right tackle to left tackle. Those are huge question marks to me.
Yeah. We only had one person take Kansas City to win 12 games. I think everyone was kind of down on them, but I don't know that we might have been overreacting to them. I could see them bouncing back and having it. But I did find it amazing that no one took the 49ers, Patriots, or Jacksonville. They had 7 picks each, and no one would take any of those 3 teams. So that's the question in reverse. Who is not seeing them? Like New England, no one wanted them. With 14 wins last year, no one wanted them. Jacksonville, no one wanted them. Look, if you just look at ATN, whatever pronunciation he wants, I'll stick with ATN. That guy had 6 receiving touchdowns. He was number 1 on the team. He had basically more production as a receiver than every other running back on the roster combined. How did they get better? By leaving that running back room a shell of itself.
I'm with you, Pat. I like Houston in that division. And remember, you think Daniel Jones is going to play. If you think he's going to play every game, the Colts are better.
Yep, I agree with that. I got asked this one on the internet the other day. I didn't answer it. I thought I'd wait and ask you guys. Who's going to want Mac Jones next year to be their starter? And I looked at it and said, well, let's start with the teams that have expiring contracts on quarterbacks.
Pittsburgh.
I have Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Arizona. And then where conflicts are, Minnesota and Atlanta. But
here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour of remaining time with Pat Kirwan this week. Kicking a few things around, bigger picture. Pat, I'm just going to leave you with this, and then I know Mark's got a couple things he wants to ask you. There doesn't seem to be anybody who tells Roger Goodell no. Now, for a while, Roger seemed as if he was working for Jera and for Mr. Kraft. But there have even been times where Roger has stood up to them recently. But, remember Paul Tagliabue? I mean, the reason he's not in the Hall of Fame, or it took him so long to get in, was because he was too buddy-buddy with Gene Upshaw. They got along well. They played golf. They didn't have any, labor strife. And the owners hated him for it. Couldn't get rid of him. And certainly made sure he didn't get the votes to get into the Hall of Fame. And I just don't know, I know you're friendly with Raj, but I don't think you're in his inner circle where you're telling him, Raj, take less money for a change. You don't listen to my callers. This is a dumb thing you guys are doing. And he laughs at you and says, I stopped listening after you said take less money for a change. I mean, they don't have anybody to tell them no on anything. And I think the only people that may do it are the federal courts or the federal government.
I think that's true. I think Rodgers sees himself as a guy who's protecting the league, and we could look at that sarcastically. I think he cares about players more than maybe it doesn't show up all the time in policy, but he does want to talk to me about that stuff. So your point about who does he listen to? I don't think it's guys on the inside that have to stand up with their vote, whether that's owners or not that. But I think there was a long period of time when he listened to Gil Brandt, and Gil would go and spend lots of time with that door closed. I think that Roger still has opportunities to see Bill Cowher. I know those guys get together and talk about what's going on in the league. And Coach Cowher has a couple of strong opinions. I don't know how much it influences him, but I think he tends to like to get a qualified outsider's view of what's going on. But the owners are driven by money, and he's got to provide that to them, and he's done a great job of doing that. So they're not really going to do anything to him. And relatively speaking, I deal with guys that are involved with finding bank presidents, big jobs. And so his salary is in line with those guys. It's not like he's out there in a place it's extraordinary to us sports people, but it's not to the big time business world. So yeah, they continue to roll down a road that I keep saying the only thing that's going to stop them is themselves. And I worked for Brian Rolap. He's gone now to golf, but I thought Brian, who was tasked with making more money, I spent time talking to Rolap, and not that far, actually about a month before he left. I thought he had a great common sense approach to things. I don't know if it's that way anymore.
Pat, one of the things that is probably my favorite part of your summer shows, and I know you guys are probably a few weeks away from starting it, is when you go through all the positional groups and rank them, because I think that gives the fan a great idea, at least heading into the season, of what a roster looks like. When you're doing that, I just happened to look, we had a Lions discussion during the break, but I started looking at who their 2025 draft picks were to remind myself. And I started looking at Tampa's 2025 draft picks. When you're trying to evaluate how a roster's growing, do certain teams, do you find that, their development of players is better than other teams' development of players, if you know what I mean? Because this is the year that those 2025 picks should be paying off. Not last year so much, but a year under their belt, a little wiser. They've learned how to be NFL players. Is there a difference, in your opinion, of who develops their draft picks the best?
Yeah, I think there's a couple answers to that, Mark. Number one is people used to criticize Belichick's drafts, except they kept winning Super Bowls. It was very hard for the draft picks to break into the roster. And they had a quarterback named Tom Brady who had no patience for the young ones who didn't know what they were doing. So that was a hurdle. Now, one of the clubs that jumps out at me that has a successful drafting history are the Seattle Seahawks. They have drafted more guys from the Senior Bowl than any team I can think of. And why? Because they like to watch guys play football. And they fill up that second, third, fourth round with a lot of Senior Bowl guys. And they've been doing it for a long time. It's their formula. And some teams are just not going to let themselves get into the high-priced players, too many of them, and find themselves having the cap space to move along with players. And then you have teams like Cincinnati. Now, they didn't put the fifth-year option on Miles Murphy. And then the young kid that they had from last year, Shamar, he hasn't done anything. So you start asking yourself, you'd think a team like that with a bad defense would develop those young guys into the point where they're playing well, but they're not. So I fault them for, are they making mistakes on players, or are they just not developing them? And I think developing is part of it.
You didn't mention the Ravens. It kind of surprised me.
Well, I loved the Ravens last year. And I thought, and you and I talked about this in July, that we thought they had the best roster in the NFL. It didn't turn out to be that way. Now you've got an issue, and this is true around the league at a number of places. New offense. You got a quarterback that. What are you going to do with Lamar? Actually change how he plays? Lamar can't change how he plays. They can call it whatever they want. Lamar's still going to take off and run because that's how he wins games. And he told me to my face, when we're losing and I have to take over the game, I'm doing it. And so I don't think whatever they call their new offense is going to be much of a change. Matabuke's injury, that killed him. And he's not healthy. At least they have Calais, who's going to be in there, but Calais can only play 35-40% of the plays. But you start looking at that. There's a linchpin player in every defense, and it's almost always the big war daddy tackle who causes problems, whether it was Warren Sapp back in the day in Tampa or Matabuke now. You can look at them all. The kid up there in Buffalo, when he got hurt, what happened to their run defense? So I think there's always a linchpin player, and no one really has a backup to that guy. So when you lose him, you lose a lot.
You know, Pat, for years we thought it was the Ravens that had the best roster in the league. I won't hold you to your answer today. I'll let you take some time. But the Eagles, the Rams, the Broncos, if I were to say right now who you think has the best roster in the NFL, who would you say?
Without thinking about it, just jumping up, the Rams. Now, is it one that's going to be long-lived? I don't know. They did a restructure on Stafford, so they got control of him for 2 years, which might be perfect. They took the luxury pick of a quarterback at number 13, which they think is their future. They hit the home run on defensive players in the draft 2 years ago. They got a nice offensive line. They got weapons in the receiver corps as long as they can keep them straight and out of trouble and everything else. I like their roster, and they need to be good. I think that division last year had 3 teams that had 12 or more wins. That is really hard. It's one thing to get 3 teams to the playoffs. It's awfully hard to get 3 teams with 12 or more wins. So I like them a lot.
He's Pat Kirwan, and we'll be talking Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern, for a half an hour on and off the air. That'll be our weekly chat during the NFL offseason here on Miller and Moulton. Pat, co-host Moving the Chains on SiriusXM's NFL Radio, and he joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, I mean, Tim, you're right. Everything's debatable. But during that 2-minute break there, I went and looked up online 4 different sites that had best rosters all done this month. The Ravens were 4th, and 11th. So not one person that I found, and Pat didn't say it. In fact, all 4 that I had the Rams as the number 1 roster, and Pat would make a 5th. So I don't think they do right now. I know you think it's debatable like most things. According to people that I looked up, you'd have to find me some that say the Ravens right now. They did. And most people thought they did going into last year. Pat kind of explained why they don't, but we can debate it. And the Broncos were top 3 on all of them, Left Twix, for what it's worth. 2, I think, on 3 of the 4. Seattle's up there on all of them. They do, DC. They definitely do. And yet both have really good rosters. Although Seattle's got that Super Bowl hangover. They lost some good players. That's part of what comes with that. June 1st is the next cut day, Johnny Mac. That's the big June 1st cuts. You'll see a bunch of cuts on Monday. Left Twix, that's hard for me to say. I I'm not good enough at evaluating offensive and defensive lines. I'm really not. It's not my forte. I don't think I know enough football to give you an honest answer. I think Denver has a really good roster. I think the Rams have a really good roster. I think the Eagles have a really good roster. Those would probably be off the top of my head, my top three. I think Houston has an excellent roster. I just don't know about their quarterback. I mean, that defense is great.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes of the top of the hour till the pro hour, or as some would call it, the bonus hour, here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks for being with us.
It's interesting, Pat kind of wanted, I don't know about avoided. I mean, he answered all the questions we asked, but money wins out. But it is amazing to me that now people are talking about Sundays in the NFL. And what I'm wondering, and I don't know, I mean, we'd have to dig in because with the teams like, Denver and the Rams and these teams that are getting all the primetime games. And I guess it's probably a good thing because LA is not a great NFL market. So as a nation, we'll watch a really good team in the Rams, David, on national television. And the local TV numbers are still going to be great in Cleveland. Why? Because the Browns are going to play 1 o'clock every week. But I just wonder at some point, will the 1 o'clock numbers suffer and at what rate? Because, your team's not playing. As I mentioned when we talked about tickets, David, we're in a different place. We're in Florida. Jacksonville, probably of the 3 Florida markets, has the most lifelong Jacksonville natives. People don't move to Jacksonville from the north the way they move to Tampa. Miami's an international city, so it's ever changing. But you know what I'm getting. Like Miami, they need to win to be interested, whatever the sport is. I think Tampa has diehard generational Bucs fans now. I spent time there. There are people that are wearing Bucs gear every day in Tampa. I don't know if it's that way in Miami, but it's harder for me to be a judge of it in Florida of what 1 o'clock's like as it would be if you're in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, Philadelphia. I think you know what I'm getting at, David.
I do. Now, what the Dolphins really need is what Tampa got. that gift called Tom Brady. I mean, the Bucks they weren't a dead franchise, but they weren't getting hardly any primetime games. They were not winning. That division is not sexy, although you had Breeze still and Sean Payton and a 15-year run that still had some life in it. And the Falcons had been to a Super Bowl recently. Carolina had been to a Super Bowl recently. But Tampa hadn't done squat. And then Brady comes in. And they win the damn Super Bowl. And they lose in the divisional round the next year to the team that wins the Super Bowl. And then they win the division. And then they win the division in a playoff game. And so Miami hasn't given their fan base a 5-6 year spurt like that at all. I mean, hell, forget the Super Bowl. Just take everything else. But I know what you're getting at, Mark. I don't want to obviously bore our listeners, but this is the topic. This is the topic that is worth paying attention to, because I think the NFL's going to do it. And this is going to be the height of their greed and the height of their, you know what? You honked us off. Don't ever do that again. And God knows when you'll get a chance to be in business with us again, because we may never allow it. But you'll be begging us from now on. Got it? CBS threw themselves at the NFL. CBS wants to be the first network that renews. My understanding is they offered $1 billion a year or more, Mark. They took the 2 and made it a 3. And that's for no primetime games. You know, that's just 1 o'clock, every other 4:25, you know, part of the Super Bowl rotation. They get a conference championship game every year, blah, blah, blah. They get a Thanksgiving game every year, blah, blah, blah. NBC. There are a lot of people that have thought, man, NBC's actually gotten a deal. $2 billion? That's less than everyone else outside of Amazon on Thursdays pays for their NFL package. And they get Sunday night football, and they're part of the Thursday night package because they don't give that game to Amazon. They give it to NBC. And NBC's part of the Super Bowl rotation, just like everybody else. And they're the cheapest package, and they get the #1 show in prime time for 20 years. And then the NFL didn't think too much about that, Mark. When other networks were complaining to them, they just figured, they're jealous. Until NBC did the NBA deal. And the NFL wasn't really paying attention. You and I were. And we just said, I'm going to read you some figures. And I can't imagine this is going to go over well. And NBC was paying $2 billion for the NFL. And beginning this year, they're paying 2.7 for the NBA. Well, sometime this year, the NFL, somebody read a story and walked into the room and said to Raj, do you see what they're paying the NBA? And he goes, well, right around what we're paying them. Oh, the hell they are. They're paying them like $750 million a year more. And their contracts for 11 years. I'm sorry, what? The word is the NFL is furious. Now, I don't know what they expected NBC to do, like call them up beforehand, let them know so they weren't offended when they heard the figure, throw money at the NFL, okay, sight unseen, without them asking, hey, we don't want you to be offended that we're paying the NBA more money, so here's $700 million a year because we're nice guys. I don't know what they expected, but Mark, the word is they want to walk away from NBC. And Mark, I'll wrap this up by quickly saying, there are companies out there willing to pay them far more.
Are they network television companies?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And I guess I understand that's a money thing. I'm talking about a viewership. I understand because that's the number one rated show. I get it. I get that Thursday night and Sunday night and Monday night draw a huge audience. 4:00 on Sunday draws a huge audience. If you keep depleting the 1:00 schedule, will numbers get to the point where it's not good business for the networks to be in the 1:00 business? That's what I'm wondering, because you've depleted it now. Like I said, in Florida, we don't care. We watch it because that's what we do. And I get the package, so I watch the best game. I'm not even the right guy to ask. But in the markets where we only watch one team, will depleting the 1:00 show where basically your team's never on at 1 anymore. If you're an Eagles fan, you're hardly ever on at 1. You got a bunch of primetime games, and you get a bunch of 425 games because you're the Philadelphia Eagles. Does that ever hurt CBS and or Fox, who the majority of their games are at 1:00? And does it matter?
I've been told it doesn't matter so long as they have the 425 window every other week. Now, the drama behind the scenes with Fox is actually the poorest of all the networks. Fox doesn't have a streaming company. They don't have anywhere to go. So when the NFL is asking for an extra $1 billion a year, Fox is like, I don't know if this works for us. And the NFL's laughing, going, well, it's not you. We'll find somebody else. I mean, they'd love for Fox to walk away because then they could give that package to NBC. And then they could give the streaming service the Sunday night package for like $5 billion a year. And Amazon reportedly is like, just let us know how much. And they're like, Thursday and Sunday? Oh, yeah, Thursday and Sunday. Just let us know how much. It's not a problem. And that's why, that to me is when the NFL makes that mistake. That's going to get people complaining. That's going to get Congress involved. That's going to get lawsuits involved. And the NFL is going to lose.
The only thing and you very well could be right from the lawsuit standpoint. The one thing that I found staggering during the NBA playoffs that I learned that I didn't know, and shame on me for not knowing. The NBA moved from TNT to Amazon Prime. I mean, yeah, NBC's in there and other networks are in there. But TNT had games for years, and now Amazon Prime was getting standalone playoff games. More people have Prime than have TNT. I had no clue that was the case until this year. That floored me. So I'll be curious, with the number of subscribers that Prime has. You're probably right. They probably will win the lawsuits. But the availability of Prime is far greater than I ever imagined. Miller and Moulton.
I know the NFL, Mark, doesn't lose very often in court. You know where they just lost in court? The Supreme Court. The NFL tried to get the Brian Flores lawsuit dropped. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, we'll give you a vote on that. 8-1 Flores.
But the thing there is that, as you know, that they can pay Flores and make that go away, kind of, so to speak. He'll get his money, and the bigger case that coming in front of them. And it certainly seems that this administration is for more free TV of the NFL, network TV. I mean, it's in their crosshairs, and the NFL's never been in an administration's crosshairs before. Like the Flores thing to me, and it's a great point, David, but it's separate from Joe Fan.
Right. And it's separate even from John Gruden. Right. But
So I do think the fact that this administration has publicly said all of the streaming services to watch the NFL is not a good thing is something we need to pay attention to. Because we've got another 2.5 years.
At the same time that the NFL's trying to renegotiate their TV deal and get at least memorandums of understanding so that they then can sit down with the players and say, come on, 18 games. Come on, 18 games.
And Seattle, like we talked about at the beginning of the interview with Pat, $10 billion for the Seattle Seahawks. There's not a lot of public sentiment on the side of the National Football League when we see numbers like that. Miller and Moulton. Miss any of the show? MillerandMoulton.com. It's National Hamburger Day today. I had my burger yesterday. I was a day early. Don't know if I'll go back to back. I've already been given an offer in the chat room of where to go. David may hit a drive-through or two. He may do lunch and dinner and have burgers twice. You never can tell. It's always out there. The Pro Hour is next. Join us on YouTube or Twitch. We'll be back in Tampa and Jacksonville after the break.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes
Mark
alive.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332516.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I appreciate that, guys. Javier, turkey burger. Really? Really? I'd rather have a heart attack, I think. Never had one, so I can't speak for sure, but come on now. Turkey burger. I'm offended. Yuck. Turkey burger. The hell's this show coming to? Turkey burger. Good gracious. Key there, Mr. Spivey, is pretty. You know what? I had ground turkey all through college. It's awful. And I don't need to expand my palate. First off, telling me a turkey burger is expanding my palate is one of the most laughable comments. No, I don't, Left Twix. I don't. Expand my palate. Turkey burger. That's like saying expand my palate. Start eating fast food. You know what? Expand your palate. How about dog food? Expand my palate. Good gracious. You keep this up, Paul. I'm gonna buy a Bears jersey and start wearing it. I mean, we're talking about, ground chicken. It's great. Does it even have taste? Hey, let's eat some cut up chicken crab. Guys are something. I am going to pick him to win the division, Paula.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it is time for the Pro Hour, the final hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. So there. Pat Kirwan was on at the top of last hour. If you missed him, go to millerandmoulton.com. Did 2 segments with him. Download what you missed.
Boy, you know, the YouTube and Twitch people can get me riled up during a break. I was told to expand my palate, have a turkey burger. I
Ooh.
responded by expand your palate, eat dog food. Are you kidding me right now?
I was going to say, if you were going to go to the well, and I'm talking to everybody on twitch.tv and the Miller and Moulton YouTube channel, and let's just say 90% of you know that Mark is, I don't know if finicky's the right word, but Mark likes to eat well. Mark likes to take care of his palate. He doesn't like to lower his palate. He understands that in a pinch, sometimes things have to be done. Even then, you'll be surprised where it is and what it is Mark will do just to, get those 800 to 1,000 calories in. And yes, Paula, you call them a food snob. At times, there's no doubt. But so of all the things, when you go, listen, you got to lighten up, dude. Okay, you got to expand your horizons. Oh, yeah? Really? Yeah, I mean like with food. Oh, okay. What is it you'd like me to... you got to embrace the turkey burger. I'm sorry. What'd you say? I mean, come on, Mark. Of all the things that you thought an experienced listener of this show would tell you, okay, you need to, lighten up Francis about when it comes to food. Turkey burger could not have been on the list anywhere.
Well, look, I understand that someone could say for a health reason that I should eat a turkey burger. No. But to expand my palate and your choice is ground up turkey, I find that hysterical.
Right.
I mean, if you wanted to say expand your palate, you need to try tile fish. Okay, I would take that. But I mean, there's not too much that I won't eat. And food snob is being a little nasty because I eat tacos at gas stations and love them. I mean, there are because of where I am in Southwest Florida, there are plenty a gas station that has some good food. I get Cuban food at the gas station up the road. I got 2 gas stations I'll get Mexican food at. So I don't really think that considers me a food snob. I love a hot dog. There are good hot dogs and there are bad hot dogs. I prefer a Detroit Coney dog to other dogs. Doesn't mean that a Chicago dog's not good. Doesn't mean that a street vendor in New York City serving a dog that's been sitting in water for 10 hours with some mustard isn't something I wouldn't eat. So I think, food snob is strong. Foodie, I will take. I like good food. My wife and I like to eat at nice restaurants. That is something that we enjoy doing together. I can't wait until I get the all clear to going back to eating whatever the hell I want, which I can't do right now. So I'm missing out on a few things. But I do think that, going turkey burger is like saying have Purina for lunch. That's all.
So I got your back. And now I know of all the topics for me to have your back on, you're like, Moulton, listen, here's a few things I wouldn't mind you having my back on. Food is not one of them, okay? We're in two different stratospheres, but I will support you on the no ketchup on a hot dog for life, and that turkey burgers are crap.
Back to the football in the 1:00 games. I've not talked to this guy in a long time, but there was I would almost say a friend. We got along very well. We were business associates. He spent a lot of money advertising with our station over the years, and we became pretty friendly. He was a big Ohio State fan. He ran at that time, which was a very popular sports bar in Southwest Florida. And I think he's still doing something in the restaurant world. I've not seen him in a few years. But I remember when the college football world basically opened up to a lot more networks. And essentially every game was on TV. That he said, they've killed me on Saturdays. Because I've got to go to the fan club route. I got to get the Buckeye Club or the Michigan State Club or the Georgia Club or whatever the hell it is. I got to get a team to come into my place or I'm dead on Saturdays. No one's coming to watch college football. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Someone just said, you know, there was a time when all your sports bars were packed by 12:45 and they would stay busy until the second game was over too. Now, I always thought it was about halftime of the second game because you had to get home for dinner. I mean, you could only drink so much before you blew off your family for 5-6 hours. But I think his point's valid. He said not so much anymore. And I don't know because I haven't been to a sports bar on a Sunday in a long time. I've had the package or I've had friends that have had the package now for a while. And I always would go to someone's house before I just now stay home and basically avoid everybody. I know the country club where I play golf, they get the package and they get a crowd up there because they've got, you know, not everybody there wants to spend money on the package, and they'll go sit up and watch the Vikings or the Bears or the Packers or whatever the case may be. A lot of northern folks. But that doesn't really start until mid to late October when all the snowbirds make their way down here. I know the NFL doesn't care, but it seems as if they're doing something. The sports world is now doing something else to just crush the sports bar. Because the lack of 1:00 games, again, the Cleveland Browns fan around the country is going to be out at 1. You guys are always on at 1. Sorry, that's just the way it is. But the Packers, who are a big draw, now the Bears are good. That was a big draw in the sports bar, David. Even when they were bad, Bears fans went out and watched that team every damn Sunday. Well, they're going to be on prime time, 6 times this year? They're going to get some 425 games as well. You know, an Eagles fan in the chat room said, with the number of times the Eagles are on prime time, do I really need to get the package this year? I don't know if you do. You know, it's just another entity that television has taken away from the sports bar. I mean, the sports bar is largely becoming a thing of the past. Something that you and I remember, you know, we used to do our show at Bo Campers. That place was packed. That wasn't just a sports bar. That was a destination. They both shut down in Southwest Florida. They're gone. He gone. So I think, you know, as we evolve, and I'm not saying that we need sports bars the way that we once did, but there are a lot of places that put games on. They're not necessarily, you know, the quote unquote sports bar is rather dead now, David.
Well, here's one of the things that happened to the sports bar. Because the NFL used to make a nice buck from DirecTV and all those bars buying the package and what have you. And then the NFL realized, yeah, that's the thing we make the least amount of money on. So what do we care? Bingo. Ball game over. Mark, let me ask you this. Is this going to further hurt, or could this really help the sports bar? The international window. They're going to go to 10 games next year, 11 if you count the regularly scheduled Jags home game in London. But the NFL's on the record as saying, we're going to get to 16 regular season international games. Everybody's going to play one, and everybody every other year is going to lose a home game for an international game. Well, that's a brand new television package, Mark. That's 9:30 a.m. Sundays. Now, you tell me, is that going to be someplace where people will actually go to a sports bar earlier?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Like, we have a sports bar, British Open Pub, that you've heard their ads. They're trying to do big things for soccer. When England plays, they're packed. I think when the USA plays in the World Cup games, they should get a crowd, although those early games are really late. We've talked about, and to me, because sports bars don't open that early. I do think that there could be an opportunity for a bar that says we're opening up at 8 a.m. for these international games. But that's trying to get a staff there Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't easy.
Mm-mm.
You better have a crowd if you're going to open up then.
Right.
Like, I believe what he talked about doing, put it this way, David, I think you got a better shot to be the bar that says I'm opening for the Premier League on Sunday morning and creating an atmosphere for all the soccer fans in your area than a 9 o'clock game that's going to be on a network of some sort.
Okay.
I mean, I think the sports bar, there are bars that show sports. I think the sports bar, the ESPN club, like Bokeh, I think those places are dead. You have to have something else. You have to be appealing all the time. You can't just rely on your Saturday and Sunday football to make your business. You better have a lot of other things. You better have great food. You better have a good happy hour. You better have a good staff. You can't just be, hey, we got to go there to watch the game because we got a big TV. Miller and Moulton, the Pro Hour.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Where's there a Stevie Tomatoes, Tim? I'm not even joking. There's still a Stevie Tomatoes? What, in the Cape? I didn't even know that place still existed. Where is there one? Oh, Collier Boulevard still has one? Okay. At Stevie Tomatoes, dude, you gotta get out, Trav. You got cheesesteaks.com. There's 3 of them. One in Naples, one in Bonita, one in Fort Myers. It's not even close. Not even close. In fact, I might have that today. That sounds pretty good. What's up, Maddie? What's up? How come? I can't do a long video right now, but I've got another 40 minutes and then I'll be able to. Well, just keep. Oh, okay. You can send it to me. I watched it on your phone. Yeah, I've been close to making I have a hankering for Sunday gravy, if you will. Plus, the daughter and I make fresh pasta, which makes it a lot more fun.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was today when final thoughts and a pick or two coming up. Mark, I think I can answer that question for the Eagle fan who's living outside of the greater Philadelphia area. Because week 1, they're going to get the national 425 game on Fox. So no matter where you are in this country, you're going to see Eagles at Commanders. So you don't have to buy the package for week 1. Now, week 2, 1 o'clock, Titans. Okay. Week 3, Mark, Monday Night Football. Okay. Week 4, a good game that you may miss out on. Okay. You're hosting the Rams, week 4. And right now it's a 1 o'clock Fox game. So I doubt it's moving. Now you're playing the Jags in London. So there's no game competing with that. That's 9:30 a.m. So here we are. We're 5 games in. You've got 3 of them. 6th one you won't see. You're playing Carolina. 7th one you won't. No, 7th one you will see. You'll be hosting the Cowboys on Monday night. Then Sunday Night Football. You're hosting Washington. Giants you won't see. Then you've got the Steelers, 425 national game on Fox, or it's on CBS actually. Then your Thanksgiving game 4 days later, Cowboys. Then you'll have to pay to see the Arizona game and the Indianapolis game. Your Seahawk game is the 2 broadcasts on the Saturday before Christmas. What network are they on? Oh, yeah, they're on Fox this year. Yeah, that's a national exclusive. Then Christmas Eve, you've got the Texans. That's Amazon Prime. Then your Sunday Night Football, you're the Niners. I believe that's 10 out of 16. That if you're an Eagles fan and you don't live in the greater Philadelphia area, you'll get the game just sitting at home.
Yeah, I think that's when you have a good team that you follow, that's what happens. I mean, not only are they a primetime game a lot, they get the 425 window. And David, there's a shot for those 1 o'clock games, depending on where, in Florida where we are, depending on where the Bucks and or Dolphins are that week, that could be the game that the network chooses to show.
Exactly.
So, I mean, your 10 could become 11 or 12, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that it's so that's a pretty big chunk.
Huge. Right. I mean, first off, if I went up to you and said, would you buy the package for 6 games? And if by chance you said yes, I'd say, don't be disappointed, by the way, if 6 becomes 4.
Right. Now, and that's where maybe you do for 4, you go to the sports bar. Because at the end of the day, what you're spending in the bar for 3 hours times 4 is cheaper than buying the package. I buy it because simply I want to watch the best games. But I'm seriously thinking about not doing it this year. Like, I don't know. So we'll see. But one of the other things that happened yesterday was the last day of it. And I wanted to get to this earlier. But what does the college basketball fan think these days? And I know there aren't as many of you, and I know it's not the NFL. But yesterday was the day that guys had to determine whether or not they were going to go to the draft. And it's a happy day for some because some of their players are opting out of the NBA draft and coming back to their particular college. Unless, of course, you're a Baylor fan because your player came back for another year, but he's going to transfer to St. John's because they're paying the most money. I mean, it's not just keeping your kid from the portal at the end of the year. It's keeping your kid from the NBA at the end of the year. And then if you keep your kid from the NBA, will he transfer? Because the Illinois kid's coming back, but he's not staying at Illinois.
Right.
I don't think he's decided where he's going yet. I mean, I will say we'll get, if you don't think there's enough New York basketball talk with the Knicks, wait until you see St. John's roster next year. Because they kept a lot of kids. They did really well in the portal, and they've got 3 good international players coming over. So while everybody wants to bash on Will Wade and LSU for the players he's getting, Pitino says, you know what? I don't mind a 22-year-old from Europe either.
Nope. In fact, if one of them could play point, I'd love it. That's what kept me from winning a natty last year.
So I just thought it was interesting that yesterday was decision day for all of the kids. And I do like their, I guess, method, if you will, that you can put your name in the hat for the NBA draft. And then you can have your agent do some work. And if you're going to be a first-round pick, you can say, hell, I'm going to the NBA. If you find out that you're not a for sure first-round pick, which a first-round pick in the NBA is a guaranteed contract. You've got to play up. It's a one-way deal. You get a second-round draft pick, they can put you in the G League. So I do like that they let the player dip their toe in the water and make an educated decision, not based off an ESPN mock draft, but by actually talking to general managers and people that know. I think it's a good thing for the player. But man, does it suck if your player decides to stay and you're like, woohoo, he's coming back. Oh, he's transferring. I don't know how you stop it, David, but man, I felt bad for Baylor. I felt bad for Illinois, and I don't ever feel bad for any schools when this crap happens.
The only good thing is that I don't think Baylor and Illinois were shocked, if you know what I mean. I think the word's out because I think the agent said to them, he doesn't know what he's going to do, but if he stays, the number's 1 million. And they go, well, that's too rich for our blood. And he goes, well, okay, see ya.
And I'll have to get it because I'm sure it's out there because we had the football numbers, so I know the basketball numbers are out there. I just saw the college hockey numbers. Now, Michigan State spent the most on their team, and they blew it again in the tournament. I don't care about that. It's not one. David, I believe the next 2 teams in spending were Arizona State and Penn State. They didn't have hockey programs just a few years ago, for crying out loud.
Well, the owner of the Sabres and Bills,
Right, Pagula.
The Pagulas built the Penn State hockey program from scratch. Arena and all. And oh, by the way, they paid the kid who's likely to be the number 1 pick of the draft. They paid him, what was it, $750 this year or $1 million?
I thought it was $750, but
Yeah, here you go.
But Arizona State spent $8.5 million for their hockey roster.
Mark, remember when you said we were talking Big 12 teams and you said, I think the sleeping giant is Arizona State. You said this 2-3 years ago. Huge alumni base, huge online program, huge online program. And they got a lot more money than you realize. Mark, you were right.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at
Well,
AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'm having a cheesesteak. Going to cheesesteak.com. Pretty excited about it too, if you want to know the truth. It's not it's not as good as a turkey burger. Good gracious. I can't. Like a turkey burger. Who would eat that on purpose? I get if the doctor says your heart's going to explode if you have no more ground beef. Okay, I guess I'll have that horrible. I would quit eating burgers. Like my mom likes to make these salmon burgers. She makes salmon patties and thinks that they actually taste good out of canned salmon. Are you kidding me? I'd feed it to my cat. My one cat probably wouldn't eat it. He's apparently a food snob too. Oh my God, Skip, what are you doing to me? Are you kidding me right now? The Impossible Burger? There's a restaurant that I really like for a chain. I just think it's got a good vibe. It's in Bell Tower there. What is it? Tap 42 or whatever the case may be. I like the place. Got a cool vibe, some good appetizers. The French dip is my favorite sandwich, really of all time. I love the French dip. I saw a French dip on their menu. It's an impossible, and I almost ordered, and it's impossible beef or whatever. I would have been so angry at myself if I would have ordered that. Impossible French dip. You know what's impossible? Fake meat. Hey, add more beet juice to it. Javier knows that. Guy that wants that prime rib rare and he gets mad. You just pour some beet juice on it. Call it a day. There you go, buddy. Knock yourself out. It's not rare enough. Now it is. Is that red enough for you, dude? Bleed all over you. Let them know you're there. Sorry, that's a slap shot reference. And that is a 50-year-old reference. Classic Rewind over the weekend did their top 50 albums that are 50 years old. It's amazing how many good albums were released in 76. Amazing. Of course, they had Kiss Destroyer on the list, and the song they played was Beth, not Detroit Rock City. Unbelievable.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Okay, you're going to want to start yelling at me. Don't. There is a massive upset that's about to take place in the French Open.
Ooh.
I know you don't care about that, but start betting a few shekels on a few of the top men's players. Sinner was a lock. Alcaraz had to withdraw from the tournament because of ankle surgery. Sinner was a lock to win this tournament. Okay? He played a 24-year-old, Sinner's 24. Okay? He played a 24-year-old Argentinian in the second round today. Sinner's won 5 tournaments this year. This guy's won 5 matches so far this year. Sinner's record on the year was 36-2. This Juan Marie Cerundolo from Argentina, his record was 5-9. Sinner won the first 2 sets, marked 3-2. Then Cerundolo took the third, 7-5. Okay. Then, wow. Cerundolo took the fourth set, 6-1. I guess Sinner fell behind and he, packed it in, saved his resources. Yeah. Cerundolo's up 2 breaks in the fifth, 4-0. He's won 11 of the last 12 games in this match. Ben Shelton, Djokovic, honestly, pretend you're the Texas Tech quarterback. Okay, what did he bet on? Chili tennis or something? Seriously, go find a few shekels in the next 5 minutes. Place a bet on a top-ranked male tennis player because the odds are going to change in 7 minutes.
4-1 in the fifth right now is what I've got.
That's even better because now we got a changeover. And who knows if Sinner can hold serve again, we can get 2 more changeovers. You might even get 10 minutes to place this bet before Sinner is out.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
If you thought David didn't pay attention to these 2 segments before, give him the chance of a French Open upset and he gone.
Shocker. Not just an upset. Upset of the year in men's tennis.
Anything can happen on clay, David. They've said it for years.
And he knows for a fact that they've not said that ever. Of all the surfaces, they've not said it on clay.
1830 we start. Not a good day in our history. Andrew Jackson signs the Indian Removal Act. It's a key law in leading the forced removal of the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Chickasaw Creek, and Seminole tribes out of Georgia and surrounding states, setting the stage for the Cherokee Trail of Tears. 1928, Dodge and Chrysler merge. Today in 46, the first night game at Yankee Stadium. The Senators beat the Yanks 2-1. Tough to see the ball. Today in 57, the National League owners vote unanimously to allow the New York Giants and Brooklyn Dodgers to move to San Francisco and Los Angeles. I did not realize that this show debuted on CBS Radio. Today in 62, Wide World of Sports with Chris Schenkel premieres on CBS Radio.
Wow.
Right. Three things in 68. The Padres get a franchise. The American League announces it's splitting into two divisions. And CCR released their self-titled debut album. Today in 72, the White House plumbers break into the Democratic National Headquarters and install listening devices at the Watergate complex.
Why? Why? Like there was any doubt. Why?
Today in 77, these three guys got together and played for the first time. The three are Sting, Stuart Copeland, and Andy Summers. They would be the Police. 1982, couple of biggies. Well, not one minor one, but it's a big thing in music. Roxy Music released their final album, Avalon. Great album. More Than This and the title track on it. It would be certified platinum 10 years later. But more importantly, David, an iconic film hit the theaters today in 82. Rocky III.
I knew it.
Key part of the movie is that Stallone couldn't get permission to use Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. So he asked the upstart Chicago band to write and record a song. That song, Eye of the Tiger, baby. For those of you on Twitch and YouTube, and even those of you in Tampa, you got your 813 back because it was today in 95 that the 941 was established. It would then be split into the 239 and the 941. Sad day in 98. Really sad day. Awful day. Phil Hartman shot and killed by his wife. He was 49. Patrick Waugh officially announces his retirement from the NHL today in 03. Barry Bonds hit .715 to pass Ruth today in 06. Jim Thorpe, Ian Fleming, who wrote all the Bond novels, Blues great T-Bone Walker, and Jerry West would have all celebrated birthdays. Former Flames coach Terry Crisp and Flyer, who won 2 cups with the Flyers, he's 83. Gladys Knight, but not the Pips, she's 82. John Fogerty from CCR's 81. Gibby, Kirk Gibson, 69. Glenn Rice, man, was he good. And he was, I watched him in high school at Flint, Flint Northwestern.
Oh, wow.
Before he went to Michigan. My goodness, was he good. Glenn Rice is 59. Marco Rubio is 54. Michael Orr is 49. Craig Kimball, 38. And so is Gator great Percy Harvin, 38 years old today. What did I miss, David? Probably a game in the center match.
I don't know. I'm not paying attention. I'm thinking about so many things here. First off, Percy Harvin, amazing. Amazing. Honestly, Tebow clearly is the greatest Gator of all time. Spurrier, Werfel, Heisman. So I don't know if anybody's put a uniform on who's been a better player than Percy Harvin. Amazing.
Especially on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Right. Yeah, totally. You know what I always thought when Kevin Durant was in college? I'm like, is he a taller Glenn Rice? Because that's how great a shooter to me Glenn Rice was. And leading that team to a title in '89, I just thought, this guy's one of the best shooters I've ever seen. All right. This pains me because I think she moved Michael from the list. Irene Cara there.
Yeah.
With the Flashdance theme became number one today. Mm-hmm. Yep.
He gives me
right
Flashdance.
Yeah. Flashdance.
What a feeling.
Oh, yeah. Got a feeling. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
It's over. Down goes Sinner. Down goes Sinner. 6-1 in the fifth.
We're going to find out he was hurt. He lost 6-1, 6-1. Something's not right. Or he fixed the match. They like to do that in tennis. Let's see. For the good, we go to Dover, Delaware, where Susan Young Brown just renewed her driver's license. She's 108 years old.
Whoa.
She was born in 1918 and received permission to keep driving until she's 115. She worked on a farm where they didn't have water or electricity.
Hold on a second. She just got a 7-year renewal?
Apparently.
Not a 7-day.
No.
7-week. No.
At her birthday party, there were 103 people, including the governor of Delaware. She drove to her own birthday party.
Biden should have her pick him up, and they should go somewhere together.
It's a really good line, David. That's excellent. Well played. For the bad, we go to Wisconsin, where, you see one of those road closed barriers. The damn thing's just in the way. So a gentleman in a pickup moved the road closed barrier and continued on his way. Well, you can see a picture of the pickup truck because it got stuck in the freshly poured concrete. That might have been why the road was closed. And finally, the ugly, we go to Key West, where a suburban Chicago man is facing a litany of charges in the Keys after this man got drunk and decided to drive. Not just any car, he stole a police car. Apparently, it happened at Bright Marina in Key West, where John Mack had been drinking at Dante's Key West Pool Bar and Restaurant. And there was a patrol car from an officer working on an off-duty detail there. He walked out of the pool bar with two friends, opened the door, put the car in drive, almost hit his buddies, and took off. They found him at another bar where he'd had 3 to 6 Coronas. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On today, May the 28th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, great pay, signing bonuses, benefits, overtime, all kinds of good stuff. Come be a cop in Cape Coral. Go to capecops.com. capecops.com.
6 games in baseball, 3 this afternoon, 3 tonight. Your Tigers trying to take the rubber game of a 3-game set with the Angels.
That'd be 2 in a row.
Yes, it would. Sale goes for the Braves tonight. Actually, it's 4:00 today at Fenway.
David, just quickly, I'm sorry. Can you bet the Tigers? Jack Flaherty's on the mound. He's 0-6 with a 5.94 earned run average this year.
And the Tigers are minus 131. How?
Well, it might be because Grayson Rodriguez is pitching. He's appeared in a couple of games with a 1-1 record and an earned run average of 10.61. Sorry. Go on with Chris Sale.
Chris Sale this afternoon, 4:00 at Fenway against his former team, the Red Sox. Blue Jays and Orioles, both of them just had some success. Now they're going to play each other in Baltimore. Cubs try to get out of Pittsburgh with a 4-game split.
Skeens on the hill for the Pirates.
They're minus $1.75. Houston and Texas, final game of their 4-game series. Twins and White Sox, 2:00 today. Final game of their 4-game series.
You know what's really interesting to see is that this Davis Martin is pitching for the White Sox. He's 7-1 with an ERA of 2.04. That's with the White Sox.
Right?
I just thought it should be pointed out.
Okay, now let's have some fun. You can all play at home too. Okay. Last White Sox pitcher of note who was 7-1. I don't know the answer. They just name a White Sox pitcher at this point.
John Candelaria.
I was going to say Jack McDowell.
I'm having trouble just naming White Sox pitchers, David.
Right. Wilbur Wood, Lamar Hoyt. Anyway.
No hoop, no hockey tonight.
Hoop.
No, we had hoop. We got hoop. No hockey.
We got hoop. Game 6. San Antonio 3.5-point favorite at home against OKC. Can they force a game 7? Miller and Moulton. We'll talk tomorrow, Friday.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between